Hello everybody, my name is Gabriele Gobbi, and today I'm going to introduce you to European Studies at the Hague University of Applied Science. First of all, a little information about me. I come from an Italian and Swiss family. However, I'm born and raised in Rome. And for the elementary school, I went to the Swiss School of Rome, and then I moved to the Deutsche Schule Rom, the German School of Rome. My mother tongue is Italian. However, I grew up in a very international / German environment. So of course, German became also my mother tongue, so to speak. I studied also English and French. And during my university period, I learned Spanish and a little bit of Dutch, of course. The city where I moved is The Hague, or Den Haag for the Italians, Laia. On the screen, you can see a picture of The Hague by night. It's a very interesting and vibrant city where you can find both the classic, the old Dutch city, as well as a very technologically advanced skyscraper / downtown. Very interesting city. But let's try to focus on why I decided to move to European studies in The Hague. During my high school period, political science, international relations were always at the core of my attention, of my interest. So I decided to do a political science course, which definitely inspired me to work further on this topic. So I started to do a basic research on which were the most political cities in Europe, which were the cities that could offer me the most, both in terms of network and job opportunities during and after my university course. So after a little research, I came up with The Hague, or better said, the European Studies at The Hague University of Applied Science. It's quite interesting because the first year is divided into two different sections, so private and public. The reason why of this division is because they want to basically provide a general introduction of both sectors on the dynamics that we have between those two sectors. And of course, allow the students to choose on which sector they want to focus, which sector is the most suitable for them, both in terms of future studies and job in the future. Here on the screen, you can see a picture of the Hague University from outside. As you might imagine, this picture has a couple of years. However, it's nice to see how it's divided. On the left, you have the first building, and on the right, the second building. Okay, first of all, the private sector. The private sector in the first year introduced you to several courses, which are the business dimension of Europe, project management, foundation of marketing, and management of organization in Europe. These courses basically allow you to have a general view on the most important aspects of business, both in terms of technical business, finance, so management, all different economics, all different point of views. And it's quite broad, but at the same time, it delivers you enough knowledge to then decide what you want to do in the future. This counts also for the public sector. You have cultural dimension of Europe, political dimension, institution of the European Union, international organization, international non-governmental organization, and intercultural communication. Also here, the scope, the aim of this is to provide the students a general idea of what the political / organizational landscape in Europe is, to then further move to a specific specialization. Of course, you have skill development courses, being the Hague University Applied Science University. So you have English Practical, Introduction to Research Skills, Oral Presentation, Professional Argumentation, Advanced Research Skills. They also provide you the knowledge and the skills to do research, to present, to write certain document with academical and professional English. So also quite useful skills and courses. I decided to focus on public. So in the second and third year, you have quite some courses focused on the public sector, international relation, European public policy, the decision making, how it works, the legislative framework of Europe, then the issues of the 21st century European society, contemporary European politics, of course, legal dimension, and then you have to choose for two minors. In my case, it was political communication in the 21st century, and then philosophy, art, and culture, being also art and culture a big passion of mine. But now let's take a look at the projects, some additional projects that I did throughout my university period. This one is a quite interesting example because it's quite related to what I did. However, it's not directly connected to my studies. I found it on my own and I applied for it. And it's called The Message to Europeans, also hosted and arranged, basically promoted by the European Union. It was a simulation, a group of students that traveled throughout Europe and organized these interesting events. So a little bit about the project. 50 students have basically recreated the Hague Congress of 1948, where several personalities, both from the scientific and political world, academic, and not only, basically worked on the first real integrational process for creating the Europe that we know today. Very interesting project. I definitely recommend to search for similar projects. And then, of course, in the third year, I also started an internship at the Elemental Water Foundation, a Dutch non-profit, non-governmental organization that works in the field of water access, water sustainability. I work for the partnership and communication, of course, as an intern. It's quite challenging for now. We work on several projects throughout the third ward. I'm currently working on grant applications and other similar activities. It's very challenging and definitely an activity that I will recommend, as well as the university requires you to do such an activity. So you're gonna end up working on something similar. But of course, the possibility for an internship are numerous. So I also recommend you to search what applies for you, what is the best option for you. Some advices for the future. I will definitely recommend you to carefully read the university course structure. So whenever you do research, please search for the manual, search for the documents that contains information about your course, so you can have a quite clear understanding of what you're going to do. And this is quite important for the future. Being the Netherlands quite a small country, the request for apartments and housing is quite high, I have to admit. So search for flats in large advance. This is also a big recommendation of mine. And of course, as I said before, take time to focus on networking and extra projects. Also, if it's not directly connected to your university or not promoted by your university, stay always active. Try to search for interesting initiative, improve your skills, both in terms of language, both in terms of arranging and contacting people. Networking is quite important. I hope I was clear, and I hope I could give you a general understanding. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your attention, and I will be here for answering further questions. Thank you.